Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? Honestly, today it's really hitting me. Vernon was reminding me today that after today, there's only one more live. And I got real sad. Like, this is going to be so strange when tomorrow comes and the lives are over. Hi, Eloise. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Chantal. Hi, Sheena. Hi, Shamir. Hi, Raina. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about one of the topics that has been running my life these past 2 years, to be real. It's a topic that's a bit scary to talk about, but I'm here following Spirit's call, which is literally what living in alignment is. It's doing what feels scary. What is Spirit anyway? Like, fear doesn't even exist if you are truly like being present in the fact that you're always protected. There's literally nothing to be afraid of. So, hi, Devin. Hi, Wanda. For everybody who is coming in, I want to let you guys know, and I want to let you guys in on a little surprise. So I've been talking about creating the self-affirmations guide, and today I fully completed it. You can actually pre-order. It's a healing, self-love, and hair affirmation guide, really created for someone who feels like they're lacking love. They have like a perceived lack of love in their life, a lack of love for themselves, a lack of love around their hair, and they want to heal from that. They don't really know how to move forward out of that. Maybe you've always been told negative things about yourself or your hair, or you constantly like speak negatively in your mind towards your hair and yourself. This is what the self-love guide is going to help with. So I'm excited because I've been putting this together for like the past 6 weeks, and it finally completely flowed out today. So I'm ready to put it on pre-order. So you can pre-order it for $10 versus the $15 that it's going to be on Monday when it releases. And of course, I'm also running my self-love sale this week because that is the theme. Really giving yourself what you truly deserve, not settling, not holding back, not making yourself smaller, going after what you deserve, or allowing yourself just to be, if that's what you want to do. So you can get 20% off of the pre-order with the code self-love, and also get 20% off of any of my private natural hair masterclasses, private natural hair masterclasses at the link in the description box. So yeah, that's what's going on this week. Hi, Hope. So let's get started. I wanted to talk to you guys today about what it is to live in alignment, because I feel that as I have really allowed this intention to take over my life, it's taken me farther than I ever thought I could go. So living in alignment, in my opinion, because I feel like it can be different for everybody, and it should be different because you should be living a life that resonates with you. So for me, living in alignment means I am honoring God first and then honoring myself after. By honoring God, I honor myself. So God comes first, then me, then everything else. And it has its own particular order depending on what we're talking about. And I really got super serious about living in alignment when I realized that what I do in my business is my purpose. I feel that it's really easy to feel like your life doesn't matter, or like you can kind of live however you want to when you feel like you're not here for a purpose. And once you realize that purpose, you have a responsibility to share. Like, literally what's in you was put in you to share it. And then if you don't share it, God will basically wake you up to let you know you need to share it, or you're not going to go where you need to go. So yeah. So a part of living in alignment for me is really, like I said, honoring God first. So what that means is I don't do things necessarily that I want to do. I do things that I feel like my intuition telling me that I need to do. So it could be 30 Days of Lives. That was something that I felt like was put upon me to do, to bring my community together, and really to offer like a space of just healing, truly. A space where you could come and be around like-minded women from all across the world. Like, if you guys have made friends with anyone, I highly recommend like maybe you message each other and get each other's like Instagram handles so you can keep in touch after this is over. But by following the call, you're like, when you're following the call and not really knowing like what the bigger picture is, you're giving spirit room to create the path for you. Like you can't create the path if you're not moving forward. And so just taking those little steps is what helps you move forward. And you oftentimes do not know where you're going to be going. Like curl coaching, I had no idea where that was going when we first started it. And now we're doing classes of 100 online. So really, I kind of wanted to give like a breakdown of what, I guess, how I've gotten to this point, I feel, because I wasn't always here where I was like running a purpose and passion driven business where I felt very comfortable putting myself first. Even if sometimes I forget, I still feel very comfortable to like kind of really set boundaries, like within my marriage, within my friendships, within my business relationships. Like I need this space for me to be my best so that I can give you my best. And I feel that the first thing that I started doing was taking time to be still. When you let so many different people and outlets tell you what your life is supposed to look like, I truly feel like you'll never really get to where you're supposed to go because you're constantly changing courses based on what you're around. You really have to be mindful too, because a lot of the times what you're taking in is coming from maybe a place of lack, perceived lack, which is going to disconnect you from abundance and disconnect you from yourself. It could be coming from people who might be jealous of you, maybe. It could be coming from people who really don't see the vision for themselves. So like say you have a goal to run a business and you tell people that goal and people are like, oh, that'll never work. Like you could never do that because they simply don't believe it for themselves. So you really have to be careful like what company you keep. And you also need to be careful about what you engage in so that you're not putting that into your subconscious and you become your own worst critic. And really whatever happens in your life is because you chose it. So you become the person holding you back simply because you wouldn't set a boundary to keep negativity outside of your peripheral, like you're outside of your aura. So, hey Paige, I haven't seen you in a while. So the first thing that really helped me to get into alignment was being still and letting go of things that I thought I knew, letting go of like responsibilities and like ideas that people have been putting on me for years, and just letting my own inner voice speak to me and not discounting it as soon as it came up. Like if my inner voice said, you know, this week I think we should make a video about X, instead of me being like, oh, I can't, even though I still did. So I would have the inner voice, the negative come up like, oh no, you can't do that. Who are you to do that? Like, what do you really have to talk about? I would feel that, but I would still do it anyway. Even if it took me like multiple weeks to film it, even if it took me even longer to edit it and upload it, when I finally put it out there, it would usually be well received and people would usually say, I've been waiting for this. And then like you kind of get that confirmation, like you take the step, you kind of feel the fear and you do it anyway, and you get the confirmation of like, this is what I should have been doing all along. And I wanted to actually talk about like things that can keep you from living in alignment, because I think it's super easy to say like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then we have these like patterns inside, these patterns that have been conditioned into us as children that we've kind of reinforced throughout our lives, that we reinforced through the way that we talk to ourselves. And then we also reinforce through the results that we get because we're expecting that to happen. And so like a pattern that I had to work through with living in alignment would be perfectionism. That's a huge, huge one for me. And I feel like looking back on it now, I didn't realize how badly perfectionism was affecting my life until I had a life coach about 2 years ago, I want to say. Because when you're doing things on your own, you can really not like, you can really not see what's actually happening because you're doing it by yourself. But then when you have somebody else come in and look at it, like you really start to kind of see yourself. So my life coach would be like, okay, like how much time do you spend filming and creating? And then why aren't you uploading? And so I really had to like get honest with myself. And the reason why is because I want it to be perfect. And then when I thought about that, like, why do you need to be perfect in order to put something that you feel good about out there? Like, and the more I looked back on it, it was because, now this is gonna be real, real deep, y'all. It was because when I was a kid, my parents got divorced. And so like my way of being seen was being the overachiever. Like the way that I got my recognition, the way that I kind of like felt good, the way that I got that family feeling, because they only ever came together to celebrate like things that we were doing at school or different activities that we were doing, was by overachieving. So everything that I had done in my life was like always constantly like the most. And it can be very exhausting when you're a business owner and you're trying to do the most. And you're also holding yourself back from all types of opportunities and income because you're trying to make it perfect, and that's just really not achievable. And so when I finally realized that, like, okay, it's not me necessarily being like a bad YouTuber or me not being confident per se, like this is like an inner child wound that I never healed. And so once I did realize what was going on, I was able to start working on healing that, which did take a lot. And then also when I would be creating and I would have that feeling of like, I can't do this or I can't upload this, like it's not perfect, someone's gonna say something. I would feel that feeling and really nurture that feeling because I know that it's something that I am working through and healing from, but then continue to press on. And just having the awareness that this isn't the end of the world. This is simply something that like, this is just an idea. It's just a belief. I can choose to have a different story. I can choose to have, to write a different narrative, you know, like I can write the story of I'm someone who shares from my heart and whoever it connects with, it connects with. I'm not here for everybody. And then there's a way different feeling when you're creating from like, I'm only here for the people who are like I connect with versus I'm trying to talk to everybody. I need to figure out a way to please everybody. And it basically helped me to get out of my own way and continue to take those steps forward. So the way that I view alignment is really just taking the steps forward. That's it. Taking the steps forward, um, no matter what's trying to hold you back and keep you stuck into that place of comfort and stagnancy, because things can be very, very comfortable, but it will literally kill you. Like you will live the same experience over and over and over again. And it's kind of sad when you think about it, like how badly you want change, but how by staying comfortable, you're keeping what you say you don't want. So yeah. So basically with me being still, when I meditate, I'm able to receive so much insight. I just put a post up about this about 2 days ago. Like when I get still and I truly just listen, I feel like it saves me so much time and mistakes because I'm able to like hear from God clearly, okay, this is what you're doing and this is how it's messing you up and tripping you up. And you need to really just stop doing it and move forward in faith. That's pretty much it's like really just having faith and moving forward, but you need kind of tools to do that. So some people that I would recommend online for learning about how to heal those inner wounds, because you do need tools to do that if you're not going to see a therapist, would be the.holistic.psychologist and also Sylvie K. Caution. I'll have to put it in the description box. She's amazing. She really teaches a lot about like attachment theory and like how you can, how like your childhood determines the ways that you react to your triggers within your relationships and how you can heal from that. Cause you know, I'm married. So we both got stuff that we're working through and it's like, it's beautiful. My marriage, we've been together for about 7 years, and y'all, we have grown so much from 18 to 26. I'm 25. He just turned 26 like 2 weeks ago. We've grown so much and been through so much, from college to the military to moving out of state to buying homes together to opening businesses together. And like, there have definitely been ups and downs, but I've learned so much about myself. I feel like you're in a unique situation as like a Black couple because you're really healing and you have to heal yourself to make the relationship as strong as it can be and to really like flourish along the way. I find that as people grow and change, sometimes they leave people behind, and having a partner who is also committed to their growth, just like you're committed to your growth, makes things like blissful, like, because even if it's not perfect, you know their heart, you know their intent, and you know what the goal is, like what the underlying foundation is. The underlying foundation for both of us is to heal and to be like who we were meant to be, who we were created to be. And then when things pop up where like maybe our traumas are triggered or our wounds are triggered, we kind of I think it can be very helpful in a relationship to have the conversation in the space where if they're like bringing you down with their own trauma, to take space, because it's not your responsibility to heal another person. So we've like come to this point. As you heal, usually the people around you heal as well. And if they don't heal with you, they kind of vibrate out of your life. So as you get better, you literally heal the world around you. So yeah, going back to things that I've done to get into alignment. Meditation, there was a time when I was meditating like 20 minutes every single day. Now I really kind of just meditate for as long as I feel I need to, whenever I feel I need to. Sometimes I do it in the morning. Sometimes I do it before I come on live. Another thing that I feel is super helpful is journaling. Journaling allows you to really get down to the root of it. I think it's super important. Something that I was actually journaling about last night during the full moon is about how control doesn't exist. Like we feel like we have control and we fight so hard to control things, but literally like this, everything could change and you can't do anything about it. So there's no reason to block your blessings by trying to be in control, because literally when you're trying to create, like say you want to, I'm a business owner, so everything that I talk about has to do with business. Say you want to achieve a certain, say you have a workshop and you want to achieve a certain number of people who are going to be there. If you're like working and controlling and forcing and trying to like make it happen on your own, even though you really can't force anybody to sign up for anything, you're limiting your potential. Like, what if God had more for you? What if you wanted 30 people and God wanted to give you 60 people? Like he wanted to overflow the arena and you were just trying to get 30 people just to fill the seats up. You're already limiting your potential. And then 2, you literally cannot control this. So you're stressing yourself out for what? You're putting yourself out of alignment for what? You're stressing out the people around you for what? You're ruining, I wouldn't say ruining, but you're wearing on your relationships for what? You're wearing on yourself for what? Like you cannot control this. So I find that really the only way to, I guess, put yourself in the best position to receive blessings is to focus on what you do have domain over, and that's your thoughts and that's your actions. It's you listening to what you need to do. So if God is telling you, you need to post on Instagram twice a day, you need to come from a pure place and actually help people, not just sell at people. You need to go out and actually talk to women in the community to see like what they need. So you're actually offering value. That's what you do, not just force, trying to get people to sign up for tickets. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. I think we were talking about journaling just now. I'm not even sure. But so that's another control. That's what we were talking about. Me writing that down really helped me like kind of come to an understanding around something that I've been trying to heal for a while now. Like this wanting to like micromanage everything. And the more you trust God and the more you do what you're supposed to do, things start to get way bigger than you expected. And it's very hard to control any of it because it's like completely divine and out of your hands. So journaling is another really good one. And then I really want to say that one of the biggest factors I feel to living your life in alignment is setting boundaries around who you give your energy to, no matter what relation they are to you, no matter if they're family, friends that you've known for 15, 20 years, the people that you're around, you will absorb their energy. Like there's no way around it. Energy is constant. Like we're constantly exchanging energy. So if you're around people who don't believe in themselves, they're going to be exuding that energy onto you. If you're around people who don't respect themselves and don't take the time and the intention and the energy to really invest in themselves, when you start to do it, they're going to feel threatened and try to make you feel some type of way about it. So I find that like through this journey, I have definitely like had to have conversations around boundaries with certain people within my family and outside of my family. Some people have met me, like if I established a boundary, some people have met me at that boundary and we've both been able to like level up together, and some people have refused to meet me at that boundary. And the thing about boundaries, the hood healer has a great saying: boundaries are rooted in self-love. Self-love is rooted in self-respect. Self-respect is rooted in self-preservation. So for me, knowing I have a purpose in the world, I need to keep my energy clear to be able to help other people raise their energy and live their best lives. I can't be around someone who's going to detract from my vision. Like, this is the main goal, no matter what. Like I said, God is first and I'm second. So a lot of the times I'm setting boundaries, I might not even really want to set the boundary. I kind of want to stay in this comfortable human space, but God is letting me know that that's not for me. So if someone can't meet you at that boundary that you're setting for your own self-preservation, self-respect, self-love, they're not respecting the way that you're loving on yourself. And you come first. Like, you're the number one player on your team. Ain't nobody more important than you. And if they can't get with it, then they gotta go. Because if they stay, you're going to be exchanging energy with someone who is not on your level. Not saying that people are above people, but there are people who are very comfortable being complacent, and maybe they need to go on another journey, maybe without you, to finally come to the place where they believe in themselves enough to trust something higher than themselves. So boundaries are very important. And if I didn't have a lot of the growth that I experienced like internally started when I really started to respect myself enough to only surround myself with people who truly were committed to healing and growing and elevating. I love that. Hope says, I'm a boundary person all day, and I teach my children how to set and enforce theirs. I think that's super important, Hope. I love, love, love that. So as I've been kind of like healing myself, of course, one day I would love to have kids. And so I've been learning, like, how can I be a present parent? Like, not just a parent who's domineering, but a parent who keeps space for my child to stay connected to who they are. Because I feel like children know who they are straight from the womb. And then like society and other people put all these like institutions and ideas and beliefs like negative on them, and then you get disconnected, and then eventually you have to come back and find yourself. And so I feel that like when adults are like, they see a child and they're like, oh, like, give me a hug, or, you know, let me like slap your hand, and the child doesn't want to, and they like literally force the child to do that, like that is like violating a boundary. Like, if my child doesn't want to be touched, like, leave them alone, you know? And then we kind of grow up constantly learning to violate our own boundaries for other people's comfort. And that's why I feel it becomes so hard to establish boundaries, because we're constantly putting other people's feelings above our own. And it shouldn't be like that. Like, if someone really loves you, then they will want you to be comfortable being your full self. And really, when someone lets you know about a boundary, like, thank them. Thank you for teaching me how to love you. Thank you for letting me know how I can show up for you so that you can feel comfortable enough to be your true self, and we can have a genuine, loving energy exchange. Like, that's super important. Yes, Michelle says children are always so sure of themselves. It's not up to us to impose certain things on them. Really, yeah. Like, I feel the things I'm doing now, I literally said I wanted to do it as a kid. Like, I said I wanted to be an author. I said I wanted to be a child psychologist, a child and teen psychologist. And to some extent, I'm doing all of those things. And eventually down the road, I will probably do them like to the true testament of where I was coming from. But everything that I'm doing now, like when I was 13, 12, 14 years old, I was already dreaming. I love it. Hope says, my mom raised us to enforce ours. If we didn't want to hug on others, the answer was no. And that was that. And think about, like, now this is a whole nother conversation. Think about how weird that is. Like, if an adult is telling a child that they want to hug, and the child is saying, no, I don't want to hug you. And then it's like, no, you have to hug me. But then we teach children that they're supposed to all like, to not let strangers, you know, to be very cautious of strangers doing things to them that they don't want, but we're already teaching them to bend to the will of an adult simply because they're an adult. Like, we gotta be real. Yeah, they shouldn't have to hug if they don't want to. Like, you're literally teaching your child to submit. You're literally teaching your child to give their power away simply because someone is older than them. Yeah. But okay. I feel pretty complete. If y'all have questions, we can talk about them. This is an ongoing conversation. I definitely don't think that we could talk about living in alignment like completely in one live. But I think that what I really wanted to say is that, Lizzie, yes, you don't always need to go to school to do what you truly want to do. It's in you. Ashe. Very, very true. And with that, I feel that it's important not to let like institutions belittle you. So I was actually thinking about this today, actually, how institutions and people will really prey on your own insecurities about yourself. So if you're already feeling insecure, say you want to be a hairstylist, but you don't have the training to do it. If you're already feeling insecure about that, and then someone from like a hair institute tells you that you're not qualified to do what you want to do, like they planted, well, they're not even planting the seed. You already had the seed inside and they just watered the seed a little bit. And then you let that psychological and spiritual warfare grow inside of you and manifest into you not following your passion that you were called to. I think that mastering your craft and honing your craft is very, very, very important. But I also recognize that a lot of institutions are not created for Black people. Like hair institutions, like the curly hair information out there is minute. There are a lot of, even like the skincare industry, like it's very hard to find like a Black owned esthetician, or a Black esthetician that understands like Black skin. So a lot of the things that we're being called to do right now, that a lot of people are like, people waking up to their purposes. Yeah, there may not be some type of certification specifically for what you do, but you have the ancestral and the divine knowledge within you to get the resources, and spirit will fill in the gaps and experience will fill in the gaps. But don't let, you have to be super careful about that. You really have to kind of like fill yourself up with so much love and affirmation that if someone were trying to plant a seed of doubt in you and water a seed of doubt in you, it wouldn't work, because if not, it would. And that's why so many people sit on their gifts and don't do things, because they don't feel qualified. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And that's it. That's that on that. Yeah. And what is that paper even? Like, I have a college degree, a 4-year college degree. Me and my husband were talking about this. I have a degree, and I know there are people, it can be difficult to not get a degree, to not get a job when you don't have a degree. But nobody ever checks the degree. Nobody ever asks to see the degree. That it literally means nothing except the fact that you have it. And people use that because this is the society that we're in. Like, oh, if you can get approval from this institution, then you must be qualified. And like, you could cheat, you could get like barely pass anything. Like, this is not a representation of your knowledge at all, like at all. Agreed. But okay, I'm going to head out. I think Devin says, will you be doing more lives about hair? I feel that I want to end the lives on hair tomorrow. So I will do a live on hair. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about quite yet. So if you guys have any suggestions, you can DM me. And don't forget that you can use the code SELFLOVE for pre-ordering the Healing Affirmations of Self-Love and Hair Guide, and also for any of the natural hair masterclasses that you may have missed. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the last live. Oh my God. For the very last live of 30 days of lives. And then from that point, we're going to go to a monthly basis of meeting. So I will be like uploading YouTube videos though. So yeah, you guys don't have to worry about that. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful night.